He is just on pain medication, so he is not 100% here today.
He's
Nah, I get
convening with the spirit world.
Sorry, it's normal 100%.
To be fair, you all tangent without meds, so it's about the same. Anyways, as the team moves forward with the next stage of events, taking on the job of discovering what lies in these ruins, or ruin, I don't know if it's a plural or a singular. Regardless, newly discovered area. After taking part in the job and some joining back, you find yourselves in this current location after almost being eaten up by scorpions. After a quick heal, you find yourselves here after a few hours. Any of you, any at all, former merchants, I'll take folk hero, or
Landcrafter.
what was that? Finder?
Landcrafter.
Landcrafter?
Clan. I think it's supposed to be like for dwarves, but screw it. There's not many Yuan T specific backgrounds.
So you became a member of the Ku Klux Klan.
Probably not.
Well,
Unlike
crafter is still under the merchant background archetype, isn't it?
you tell me, DM.
I'm gonna say sure, because
I love it.
otherwise we probably don't have anything. So the main person, I guess, that would have that can roll investigation with advantage.
Indeed. Advantage.
Everyone else can just roll investigation, just disadvantage, unless you have something I've already mentioned beforehand. Or, I don't know, you tell me if you have advantage or flat roll,
Mm-hmm.
depending on what you believe would work here.
Spin the DM a tail.
Well, that's a nice roll on my part.
Investigation, right?
I'm actually
Okay.
sitting
What
there
are we
second
in-
guessing whether this is indeed a ruin. Looks a little too dilapidated to be a ruin.
Finn,
what
you
are
were
we
saying?
actually investigating? What are we actually investigating? That
You're
might
taking a
be
quick glance in the area to see if, what looks important, what is the focal structure of this area, why it was created. Basically, you are doing the job of a quick glance archaeological discovery. Maybe you'll find something, maybe you
That-
won't.
In that case, I'm probably a disadvantage. Here we go.
So, it's disadvantage because we have no bloody clue what we're looking for.
Yeah.
True.
Except for
Well, I would
Finder.
personally,
That's
I
true,
would say,
so that was not the reason.
personally, I would say right here is important, but that's my guess. I don't know if that gives me a straight roll or not.
Yeah, the mall fountain is definitely important.
If you're like not paying attention to anything else and just focusing on that, it'll be a flat roll, but it'll be just focused on that.
Okay, that's what my investigation. That's what my opinion is.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. Gimme, these looks like broken rocks here and there. Some of it looks like walls, others like statues that broke down. Could be a location of an ancient civilization, or someone just threw a house party and it blew up in their face.
Like a fine place until someone ruined it.
Sigvald, pretty much the exact same thing. You just know it wasn't a party. You did not tell me which way or the other, if you had advantage or a flat roll, so I'm going to take the 11. You can't really discern what exactly is of high importance. You just know that this area was just newly discovered. It's kind of hard to tell what is or what isn't. The only problem is you never asked who discovered it, so you don't have any other notes. But you could maybe look in to the dossier you may or may not have. From what I remember, it was either Sigvold, which would be you, or Gemi, which would not be you, has the file. I just don't remember who it was.
I
can
do
say it's you.
believe I have the file.
Sure, why not? You can look at it to see if there's any hints or clues to that. With the first excadiving, not the right word, team. Finn,
Okay.
that area itself does seem to have a water-structured form, basically a fountain. So there was water here, but no longer. It does have the corrosive form after various years of maybe use, slipping through it, but there is also something there that doesn't fit quite right. Normally the rock in this area would be more or less the same, but after it being potentially collapsed on itself, it still would have generally the same coloration, even if it's buried or cleaned away. The, not sediment, that wouldn't be the proper term, but the material used to create the inner structure of the fountain is discolored for some reason that you don't fully know just yet. So you can tell that the fountain is discolored. Don't know why, but that's weird. The walls themselves seem to have a weird structured form, indicating that of maybe a temple or some type of worship site. The two pillars in the front does suggest a pathway or an archway, no longer visible or there anymore due to long age time. Beyond the fountain, there is a structured, potentially knight, but the knight itself seems to be bulkier than a standard humanoid. They carry a shield and sword, but they all look like stone. It does feel like, the thing, if this is a temple, the thing to worship or at least show respect to.
This was an old temple of any kind. That seems to be the icon it's devoted to. You see the stone armor. There's something wrong with that fountain, though. In the desert, it's... You don't poison a well unless you want to hurt someone. Or a source of water. Let's take a closer look.
Well, maybe it wasn't poison. Maybe it was some form of acid or other
Just the water source ran out.
Getting close to the area, you can tell that Sigvold, go ahead and roll for me investigation. You're looking through the paperwork, or if you're doing something else, then it's something else.
I am looking through the paperwork. So investigation normal.
Yeah, normal flat roll.
27.
Air horns.
Anyways, with a natural 20 and a 27 in general is actually a pretty good roll. You can discern that the paperwork itself seems to suggest various structures of lane line paths. Lane line paths are generally how magic flows in the world. Many people call it the weave, and many people maybe not worship it, but draw from it, creating their own strength, their power, their magic. That's usually how it works. There are other forces in the world that you can draw from. Some consider them the gods, some consider them devils, fae, or whatnot. And some call it the shadow weave. But this one does seem to be a lane line path, meaning that this area itself is at various crossroads of these paths, suggesting that there's a lot of energy or untapped energy here. Untapped thanks to the time span it took for it to be broken down. The notes in there also dictate that the walls seem to have weird grooves in them, suggesting a pattern of maybe not etched architectural design or artwork. It more suggests that of a written language. The archaeologists themselves could not discern what it was, so they came back to see if there was a team willing to maybe get groove patterns down so they could investigate, or if you're lucky and could potentially discern the language, the team could maybe translate it for them. You can also tell that they took samples here and there, suggesting they could not discern what the fountain was made out of. The statue itself had a strange vibrating hum to it that they did not touch because none of them were casters, so they just left it alone.
Seems fair. Seems fair.
Yeah.
I will relay this information to the team.
Okay, everyone else that knows that.
And remind everybody that, of course, be wary. This is a highly magical place. Don't do anything silly.
So, according to your paperwork, part of the stuff we're supposed to be doing is taking notes and copying symbols and stuff like that.
I double checked my notes.
If you've
Is
ever-
that one of the things?
If you've ever played detective and found like weird grooves in the area and put a piece of paper and put chalk over it, yeah, basically.
Basically.
Or if you're smart enough to translate them yourself. But looking at the fountain at this close of a range. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I've got a blank book and ink and ink pen and some chalk, so I can go ahead and take notes and start getting copies of the symbol.
How much paper do you have?
I have a book that is 250 pieces of paper. It's just a blank book.
The writings stretch through the walls. Like I'm talking
And
the walls.
Oh well. Then in that case, I'm going to be trying to just write them or copy them into the book. in a
Yeah,
much
that would likely be
smaller fashion.
easier.
just gonna.
It would-
Is it any of these languages?
First, I'm going to answer Finn. Finn, it definitely would be easier, but maybe not faster. It would take time. If someone helps you, it would take less time, but discerning on the amount of time it would take, I'm going to have to make you or someone else roll an intelligence check. Just determine that. With the languages you guys are putting up there, Abyssal, Draconic, Common, Dwarvish, Elvish,
Does everyone speak
Infernal.
dragon? No.
Why wouldn't you if you know magic? Primordial.
According to my race background, I get common, Quori, and one other. And since I don't know what Quori is, I didn't know if that should be like a celestial or just leave it at Quori and nobody else knows it. I don't know.
From what I remember, and it's not much, it's basically a telepathic language.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
No need for such petty things as corporeal memory.
But no, everyone is wrong. Well, not wrong. It's just no one has it.
Okay.
Nobody knows the trouble I see.
Okay.
But yeah.
Someone wants to give me a hand, we'll go ahead and start jotting down what I can as notes while the rest of you investigate the fountain there.
Before you begin, and you guys can determine who can or cannot help, looking at the fountain at that close of a range, you can determine that the weird structure of the fountain itself does seem to fit the motif as far as you can tell, but the inner material is off-colored for some reason or another. Looking at it this closely, you can tell that the off-coloration is in a green, almost like moss color, but there is no moss growing, just the color of moss there. The best way I can describe it is mold, but without the fuzz,
Like a green stain.
basically.
It's going to take me 10 minutes to ritual cast detect magic, so it'll keep me occupied during that time.
Does anyone else help Finn, or does Finn roll solo intelligence?
I was just wondering, my character has proficiencies in a lot of artisans tools. Like I get to choose, I think, like 5 of them. I'm wondering if alchemist kit counts as an artisan tool.
Doesn't.
Pretty sure it does. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
That's DM's call.
Alchemist kit is more in line to, well, alchemy. It is a
Yeah.
type of art in a way, but it's not the type of art you need.
Well, that's fair. I didn't choose it anyway. I just realized my background gave me an extra one, so I was like, "Ooh, maybe it should be that."
You could potentially just use the material in there to help out.
Yeah, whatever. I'm immune to like poison. I'll probably scratch up a little bit, rub it between the fingers, give it a sniff. What could go
I'm
wrong?
sure it has chalk in there, but whatever. Does anyone help Finn while Gemi is like ritually casting Identify, I believe? Or Detect Magic? I
Actually,
forget
just
which.
detect magic.
Yeah, good choice.
You're doing detect magic? Okay. I
Sigil,
keep forgetting I'm a caster.
Yes, yes.
were you gonna give me help there?
Yeah, sure. I'll give you help.
Thank you.
I'll help you.
Okay.
Just a straight intelligence, not a history or anything.
No, this is straight up you writing things down as fast as possible with Sigvald like pointing things out for you to be helped out.
Figures. Freaking
I will
figures.
lift you up.
Both of them are 9.
Oh, isn't
Not
it
how my brain is
intelligence,
working
not
today.
strength?
That is true. What's your bonus
is.
for intelligence?
3.
Okay,
So
so
it's
that would be
11.
an 11. Both ways. Like, this
I hit
isn't
the
an
wrong button,
impossible
sorry.
task. It's just going to take a long time, longer than you expected. Full disclosure, this was to determine how much time, not like if you could do it or not. You definitely can write things down as long as you can write things. But it will take roughly half a day for you to get one wall and the other half day to get the other. So basically an entire day to get everything you need. Or everything that's here.
I don't think we're gonna be. I don't think we're gonna be hanging around that long. I'll just get what I can of the important looking things. But yeah, I don't think we're gonna get everything on the wall. I don't.
You cannot tell what's important or not. So I will ask you this. Do you jot down the left side of this temple or the right side of this temple?
Actually, stuff from like here to here because this area here looks important.
Good call.
Or maybe not if you don't have context, but useful.
Yeah.
Still though,
We'll
this
take
could just
them to
me.
the story.
Big statue.
This could just be me messing with you, but you will never know until it happens. Finn, you jot these things down as quickly as possible while Gemi, your spell eventually completes and you're able to detect magic. And you detect it everywhere. You detect it on Finn, you detect it on Finder, you detect it on Sigvald, you detect it on yourself, and you detect it on Finder's construct.
Keepers.
I forgot what his name was.
Honk.
Honk, that's right. Beyond the normal you can detect, you can tell that the green is also magical. It has the conscript of the... I'm just using words that I shouldn't use in this sentence. It has the class of...
What does it do to the frog?
Murders the frog, of course.
illusion.
Well, they
Is that
seem to
what
have an
PDF is
illusion head of
telling
some
you?
sort. There's something illusionary with the fountain.
I'm gonna look over the fountain.
What's the range? Go ahead and do so, but Gammy, what's the range of your spell? I believe it's 30 feet,
Let me
right?
double check. 30 sounds right, but let me make sure. 30 feet, yes. And I can always walk around to
Yeah.
inspect the room.
I believe it does last for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Scoping out the room, you can tell that there are ley line traces of illusion magic all over the walls. Just like in the fountain, but in less amount of concentration amounts. As soon as you get to the statue, there is something there, but the material on top, or should I say the surface of the statue, is blocking any indicators of what it is. So this is not just stone.
Okay. Interesting.
Does Jimmy share that information?
It seems to be
Sure,
blocking
Sigvald
magic here on the
will-
statue. There's
I hope
illusionary
so.
magic everywhere.
Hmm.
Best way I can describe it, the walls have about 5% of a potential spell. The fountain has 30% of a potential spell. And the statue has about 50% of a potential spell, blockaded by whatever structure it's made out of. Blocked by whatever structure it's made out of.
I'm interested in the stone knight, but I'm also interested in what happens if someone pours water into the fountain.
Oh, wait, sorry. Wall 5, fountain 45, statue 50. To make it an even 100.
Sure.
Okay, so what you're telling us is, if we manage to activate it, then then you're gonna roll to see what is gonna happen.
I'm not telling you to do anything. Just giving you subtle hints and clues of what might happen.
Okay, so Jimmy
Subtle.
thinks that this
Yeah,
thing is not actually a statue.
Yeah,
Oh,
Jimmy
sorry.
is not a statue.
You think it's a stone covering of some sort? There's magic inside?
Possibly.
Sigvald, you did mention you were going to look at the fountain. Is there something specific you're doing? Perception, touching it, looking at it, investigation?
I would like to investigate it, see if I can find the source of this magical power that Jimmy has found.
This is so close, and this investigation does require touching it unless you have specialized tools. In this case, I would allow alchemy kits to, be specialized tools of whatnot. I would also accept blacksmith tools. Finder, you don't know this, so go back. That is heavy metagaming. Or, Sigvald can just ask you if you have any tools.
Sadly, I
scratched it
only
up
have
and
my
said
cooking
it.
utensils and brewer supplies.
I am covered in tools.
I look over at Finder and say, "Do you have any proficiency with alchemy?"
There we go.
Well,
Okay.
That is the one thing that I'm not. However, I have these smith's tools, tinker's tools, thieves' tools, woodworking tools, and/or stonemason's tools.
Yeah, you can definitely use your hands, or you can use more specialized tools. With specialized tools, you will gain advantage. Without them, it would just be a flat roll, but, advantage is better than nothing.
What manner of implement would you like, Sigvald?
You said that that smithing tools would work too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, some smithing tools, I think.
And your little engraver's chisel, and I don't know. I'll open the roll before you.
Okay. Okay, I'll
What attribute is associated with
This
using
one would be a
tools?
more finesse structured form, so that would be dexterity. Unless you can
okay.
persuade me to change it.
Okay, so I'll make an advantage investigation
s-
check and we'll deduct 1. Okay?
You
I
okay?
see
like-
Sigvald trying to do something. I'm going to
Okay.
go ahead
23.
and
Okay, bring up.
I
Hold
was
up,
going to
Demi,
offer
what you
my
were
expert guidance.
saying? You do so, but Sigvald just doesn't pay attention and just does his work. Sigvald would still have advantage, so no matter what, he gets the advantage. So with 23, you can determine
Wants to
that.
listen to poor old Jemmy.
Sorry, Jemmy. What did you say? I was rather deep in thoughts.
Jeremy, you basically
Worries.
told him everything before he did it, but he did it almost in the exact same amount of time. But looking at the fountain itself, you are able to more or less move the tools around to check things, investigate to see what's happening. As you move the tools around, you can tell that the green, whatever this coloration is, when you slightly scrape it, doesn't like protrude out or like attack the weapon or object in this case, but it does like keep on the item as you're moving it around. You can tell that underneath the green, the coloration does not seep into the waterwork. It's a surface-like structure. But when you remove the, let's say it's a simple knife to keep things clean and consistent, but not sharp, so it doesn't like cut anything deeply. You can tell that the blade itself is now about 8% covered with this green now. It doesn't seem like moss, as I mentioned beforehand. There is no weird growth to it. It's just now colored green in like that little area where you touch the green.
Okay, so Finder's chisel has now turned green.
Corruption.
Based off of everything you've investigated and everything you've seen, you can tell that this is likely a chemical process or something of that nature, which suggests maybe don't drink the water if there's water there, not unless you don't mind being green, or depending on what it does into your body. Gemi can determine that this is illusionary magic with something attached to it, so whatever it's doing, it's definitely magical, but with also a chemical compound to it, which is why it attached to the object itself. It is not good, but at the exact same time, this does give you a clue to potentially what can happen. Sigvald, because you don't have everything just yet, go ahead and roll insight with disadvantage.
I'm inciting the magic. Okay.
You're more or less inciting what could have happened here.
16.
From what you can tell, if the water was moving through it, it likely would have gotten this green. But where the water is coming from, it's possible that that's where the green is. With this type of fountain, it would be a underwater source, obviously, for that purpose. But that type of purpose would also require either a structure to keep the water in or some type of well where the water is being drawn from. With this water structure, it would go through this area altogether, which would mean that the water itself or the green would likely be hit something else beforehand. With the walls and how they are corroded from place to place here and there, it's possible that their perhaps structure broke down over time, or maybe something chemically happened. With the statue itself, you can deduce it's possible that it itself also got chemically changed, but not inside based off of your last investigation, which means the shell itself might relate to this green, but no longer due to time. Well, the coloration no longer due to time.
Okay. I will relay this to the group in a slightly less certain fashion.
Fair enough.
Scrape all the green off my chisel.
With?
The stone on the side of the fountain.
Stone is
Scrape,
green
scrape,
now.
scrape. Stone's now a little bit greener, and your chisel is still green, but with now like grooves into it because the rock isn't exactly a clean-cut rock anymore.
I prestidigitation.
Few minutes. Walk the perimeter.
You walk the perimeter, and Gaming, go ahead and roll for me a perception check.
Keep forgetting I'm a spellcaster.
11.
That's pretty lame.
With a quick glance in the area, you can tell that Finn is doing a miraculous job. Sigvald is looking through and perhaps in telling people like what could potentially be happening here. As you move away from the area, you can tell that there is a weird line in the sand. From time to time, you just can't really pinpoint what it is. Finder, when you cast Prestidigitate on your blade, I want you to go ahead and roll for me a. Let's roll Arcana.
Arcana.
It's either that or a deck save, but I feel like Arcana would be better for you.
Just make the deck save. It'll be funny.
I'll just make an Arcana. No, it's fine.
As you cast magic on this thing, the weird green gets hit with it to disperse it, but as that happens, you can tell that instead of doing that, the green almost sprints through your blade. You use your magic or control of your magic to keep it at bay before it actually touches you. And then you realize you should probably stop the spell, so you halt it. But now 80% of the blade is now green.
Oh, great.
Right before your fingertips.
It eats magic.
Maybe. Or something else is going on.
Well, magic powers it anyway.
Gaming on the left
think-
side, go ahead and roll for me perception check. Finn, you were saying?
I was just gonna yell over to find her. I think you were right when you said corruption.
That's what you want to call it.
Okay. I
Uh,
don't think it can be removed with magical means, or
Might
not
need a new
cleaned
scraper.
anyway.
Gaming on the left side, you can tell ruins, destruction, signs of a potential ancient civilization. But you can also tell that there were bones in the left top hand corner. The bones
Oh, yeah, I
themselves
saw that. I was actually going to call that out as flavor.
do suggest something that you can call for flavoring, but they did have a weird green tint to it. Not unless you like actively looked for it, which you did, just in case. But if like a quick glance or like not looking for it, it would not look like it unless you know how bone works. Gemi, you have plenty of fine china where you come from, bone china, as people call it sometimes. It doesn't have that tint. It has a greener look to it.
Well, nothing out there but a long dead creature, but I see that the bones on it are a little green.
Gross.
Doesn't look natural
Victim
to
of
me.
the same corruption. This thing that's like 80% corrupted, I'm just gonna toss it into the fountain.
You toss it in the fountain. And that's it.
Yep.
You just threw trash on the ground.
Yeah.
Finn,
No.
at this
Yeah,
point in
litter
time,
bug.
you do get a good amount of the wall. Not everything, but the area you considered most valuable. And Finn, go ahead and roll for me. Are you looking at it? Are you trying to find if there's a distinctive pattern to the language or something with that notion? Or are you just jotting it down and like
Yeah.
saving it for later?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and try and make sense of it as I'm writing it.
Okay. This would either be insight or an intelligence save, and I'll let you choose which one.
Intelligence save or check?
Intelligence save or insight.
Okay. Oh, hey, look, I pushed the right button.
Cool. Looking at the
Nice.
strange symbolisms or the strange pattern in the area that you can't quite make the language out of, you do look at it, and for a second it does wave over your mind as if various thoughts are going through it. You aren't able to fully depict what language this is, but you did get quick glimpses of maybe the past, maybe the future, maybe something. But you saw a knight being coated in water, being drowned and turning into stone. You saw something else made out of bone, coated with this water as well, turning into a solid form. And then you saw something else made out of maybe metal or steel, with a weird contraption in the middle of it, coated with the water, turning the rest of the shell into a strange statue of a sword, shield, knight.
Wait, so the first thing they were drowning a knight, and then he turned to stone, but that's not this
They
night?
were drowning a person that was dressed
Okay.
as a knight. Sorry, should have made that more descriptive.
No.
They were drowning a dude that had like filigree of knighthood. They were drowning a long dead boned animal, and then they drowned this weird construct or something of that notion with a weird middle heart part, and turned it into a statue with a sword and shield depicting that of a knight.
Okay, so this here is the weird construct thing and not the actual dude that turned to stone that I saw?
No.
So the knight would have been like you see a knight like at a banquet, right?
Yeah.
Not like in armor. Okay.
But this is the construction part, not the dude part.
Correct.
Okay. I'm gonna come back here and staying, 3, 4, 5 feet away from the fountain. I'm gonna go ahead and say, I'm not sure if it's important. I believe I've just had a vision of the past. That fountain, I believe, has been used to turn a man to stone. And perhaps even contain the construct or equipment or device that is inside this statue behind me.
Why code a construct in stone? Why not just turn it off?
I don't know. It's more
A
reason.
little less than likely to mess the construct if you don't know that's what it is.
So now that we
Perhaps,
do, I know a thing or two about constructs.
But I do know that water tainted with the green in that fountain turned a living man to stone. So maybe rubber gloves if you got them.
Also, Finn, you couldn't exactly tell what species or, I guess, race in D&D that man was. You couldn't tell if they were a human, Yingti, or whatever Gemi is. He looks like a dwarf, maybe a halfling. Hard to tell.
I was
Sure.
using the word man as a.
I know.
as a
I'm just
filter for humanoid.
basically making sure that everyone knows that it wasn't a human. It was
2 arms, 2 legs.
maybe like it was very shadowed.
Oh.
The best way to describe it, if you've ever seen a movie, the person was drunk and couldn't really make out faces, just like they were covered in shadow, but you could tell what was going on.
Goddamn shaky cam visions.
Yeah.
Yeah. This does seem though like a holy place, but for what religion I don't know, and doesn't seem overly pleasant.
Also, sorry, Finn, I genuinely forgot I could do this. But if I touch a page of your book, I can make an image appear on it. So I could just be like, this page, just like what I'm seeing of the translations, copy it, next page, doink.
Bastards.
Oh, that's extremely helpful. I'm cut the time of doing this and like.
Can you go ahead and post exactly what you're talking about?
Yes, I can. It is a ability called Magical Tinkering. It is quite long, but it's my version of Prestidigitation. So the main thing is you can't have multiples running at the same time. You can have only your intelligence modifier plus... No, just your intelligence modifier, and then the last thing gets dispelled.
Whenever you type creature, record a message that can be head up.
A static visual effect appears on one of the object surfaces.
Which one are you doing?
So on a page of a book, I could create a static visual effect that appears on one of the object surfaces. The surface of the page can be a picture, up to 25 words of text, lines, and shapes, or a mixture of these elements as you like.
Yeah, a static visual effect appears on one of the object's surfaces. This effect can be a picture up to 25 words of text, lines, shapes, or mixtures of these elements as you like.
I just highlighted and pasted the pertinent.
Yeah,
so
the
you didn't
relevant
have to
part.
filter.
Is there a like time thing or something with that choice?
The chosen property lasts indefinitely. As an action, you can touch the object and end the property earlier. I can just do this is like a cantrip for me.
It's still gonna
Only
take
the
time, but it's definitely gonna save a lot of time.
you can only do it up to your proficiency modifier, and when the last one,
Yes, so
when
the
you go,
maximum number of objects. The last one just so I can just do it like, a paragraph at a time or whatever.
yeah,
Your proficiency bonus is
and
2,000.
what is your proficiency bonus? It's 2, right? So you can do it twice, and then the first one disappears.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Where does it say proficiency bonus? It says equal to your number of times your intelligence modifier.
Okay, your intelligence modifier then, so
Sorry,
that
yeah.
is 4, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't say that I only have like 4 a day.
No.
Thing. Yeah.
So
Just if you try to do
do
a fifth one, the first one disappears. You
Yeah.
only have 4 active at a time.
That's fine.
Yeah. This isn't gonna get everything, by the way.
I mean, I can put a picture there, and I can just be like, just copy the, because I don't know
Yeah,
the
'cause-
script. I can just be like, page at a time, copy, go, copy, go.
Well, if he throws it up there and it's highly accurate, which is the big important part, then I can just trace it really quickly with my
Exactly.
ink and then go.
So
through
are
the
you
next
doing
one.
it to the paper or the wall? From what I can tell, you're doing it to the paper.
Yes, I'm putting pictures of the wall on the paper so that he doesn't have to like. Is this a like J thing? Okay, no, the J's a little bit different. He can literally just like, this is what the fucking scrape is. I'm tracing.
Okay.
Yeah, instead of freehand.
But a smaller version, so he doesn't
What
have to like.
do you
one
start with
character
first?
Page. I asked him
wall?
where he wants to start.
You've already like covered this arc area.
Let's just keep going then. I don't know. I assume because that's the way that Finder reads and most people read is that it's left to right.
You don't know.
Yeah, no, I
That's
don't.
the modern way.
It's Finder. He doesn't.
All right. With
he
the
doesn't know.
amount of words or structures you can do, it will definitely save time. Do you start with this quarter of the wall, this arc, this quarter of the wall?
You see the red line? Somebody's doing the red line for us.
Yeah, I got that up. That's the direction he said he's going, so that's.
Okay, with the 10 and 30, that would be that quarter of the wall. What is there currently?
Does it matter? None of us can read it. No.
Okay, immediately Finder and Finn and tentatively your construct as well. Go ahead and roll for me an intelligence saving throw with disadvantage.
Disadvantage, you say? So 2 heads are worse than 1.
You're not helping each other.
Yeah, well, you're not
Hard
helping.
enough to get myself into that sort of trouble.
This would only affect people currently in a 5-foot radius, and I think it's just you guys.
Disadvantage.
So that's 12 and 10. DC to beat was 13, by the way.
Oh, come on.
Not everything's high. Just poor rolling.
Wait. Is this a magical effect?
This
Wait,
is
I
a. Go
I
ahead,
still
Finn.
got disadvantage, even though it was a flat roll last time.
It was a flat roll last time because you were doing something else. With magic involved, it became disadvantage. Finder, this is technically magical because it is grouped through your own magical effects.
Hey, so I get
Okay.
17.
No, you don't. You roll again, and we'll take the other one. Because you should have reminded me beforehand.
I just thought of it.
This is
Saving
basically,
throw. I take it.
You still succeed, but please remember that beforehand. I don't remember everyone's character
it's fair.
perfectly.
This is the second session. We're brand new.
Yeah,
That's a big it's a big one.
yeah.
I have this, but I don't think it will help.
Okay. You have advantage on wisdom saving throws. This is an intelligence saving throw.
Yeah.
But
okay.
also good to know.
Nothing. Yeah. All right. In that case, yeah, I'm just flat out.
Okay. Finder, does your construct honk have an intelligence score?
Yeah, I guess it technically does. Let me just see, because it's immune to some bullshit. Scrolling down. It is immune to charm, to exhaustion, poison, so probably not. So intelligence.
Did you just say charm?
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's immune to charm. Okay.
If any of you two are immune to charm, you're also okay, technically.
Just resistant to all magical effects.
Uh,
It's kind of bonkers.
you see this weird pattern in front of you diving in. You then see the weird shape of this contextual wall begin to take root into your eyes. Almost as if in a drunken state, you do see various people dancing around a fire, as if symbolizing some type of ritual, maybe death, maybe some type of burning someone alive as they dance around the fire. As that happens, you do feel weird sensation. Finder, you don't know what's happening to you, but you can tell something just happened to you based off of the weird, almost intoxicating aroma you feel like you're smelling, but there's nothing there. Finder, you already can tell there's a magical effect there. You're just not exactly sure what it is, but with your own strengths, you're able to at least make sure you aren't acceptable to it. So you cast the spell off, and your snake is fine.
Okay, so the words are evil.
Sure.
But what happens to Finn?
You don't know.
Yeah.
You just know something weird happened. Just you technically don't know who lost the save. But yeah,
So,
that weird thing happened to all of you, except for
I would-
Sigvold and Gemi. I don't know, the two up front looked loopy for a second and then zoned out and then re-zoned back in.
So if you read the wall and you get a vision, but also some sort of presence. I'm not sure what just happened.
Also, Finder, you feel like that was closer to the apex of whatever writing this is.
Okay. I suspect the last corner is the climax of whatever the story of this place is. Seemed like they were happy, dancing around a fire.
So you had to get, if you had to guess, the walls read from left to right. You're right on that part. Just maybe not in the section you wrote. Sigfold and Gaming, go ahead and roll for me intelligence checks. Or insight. I'll take either.
Insight works a lot better for me.
I'll happily take the intelligence check. Oh, that would be a 15. I don't have disadvantage.
If he had... No, it's just a normal roll. Based off of what just happened. Well, not what just happened, but based off of what Finder just told you. If you had to guess, this story has a way of being read or being written. Whoever these people were actively aware of what could potentially be here, just not exactly how would it affect people. But normally how a story affects people is from the beginning all the way into the end. If you try to spoil it, it generally does bad things to you because you have no context clues. You could potentially misread something. You could potentially hurt yourself in this way, either mentally, physically, or any other way. Just really depends on how you read the story. And with magic involved, it makes it way worse. It doesn't seem like these parts are a lie to you, Gaming or Sigvold. It just means that you have no knowledge behind what is happening. So it's harder to interpret, causing your mind to go wonky for a little bit. You both have this information.
Yeah.
Both rolled well.
But y'all
And a
muted?
15 is low at level 3. Oof.
Yeah, I'll relay that.
So Seems we should start at the beginning then. I think this corner happened after the middle part, so go to the
Again,
entrance and turn left.
At this point in time, you have used up 3 hours writing all this information down with your magic. Based on, no, not 3 hours. It would be around 2.5. If you continue to read the story, it will take you an entire day to go through the rest. Well, the rest of the day to go through the rest. How are provisions looking?
Is Finn just standing there staring ever since what happened?
No, you're actually normal.
Okay.
We got 3 days of rations since you asked about provisions.
I've got 8.
I have 9 left.
Wow, I
I've
swear
got
you guys only
9.
bought 2.
Or not me, I went
Well-
overboard.
Oh wait, I
My
already had 10. So
Ah, got it.
yeah.
I think I
have
started
10.
with
They
2
have
and bought 2
one silver
more.
apiece. Right? 1 silver apiece? I got 92 silver that says I broke a gold.
Yeah.
I started with 10 rations, so I'm at 9.
You can definitely eat the day if you want to. Digvold does have his canteen of infinite water, or someone does.
yeah, I have the decanter. Yes.
So if you guys want to eat up the rest of the day, you're more than welcome to. We just don't really know what happens at night. Here, specifically. And there's
We
nothing in
could-
the notes because they did not stay the night.
You could read the day away and then retreat to a safe distance to camp.
Yeah, is there anything more about these ruins, or like a cave or a tunnel down, or anything that would tell us that there's more than just what we already see on the surface?
The fountain, the statue, and the big old bones to the left side of the map. Other than that, it seems like a compound structure of a temple.
I'm not going to really try to read things, but I'm going to go ahead and look at the text, and I'm going to see if I can spot anything that might indicate where the beginning or end of text is. Like for the beginning, if everything is kind of all aligned, especially if it starts with any big letters or something. And then for the end, I'll try to keep an eye out for any punctuation or maybe the lack of justification, as sentences can be of varying lengths.
Yeah, good call. Roll for me. Man, there's a lot of insight. Either an insight or something else, if you want to do something else.
Take the insight. I also would prefer to give myself some expert guidance here, because since the consequences of failure here seem pretty bad. So yep. All right. So did I forget to add that to the sheet? All right, whatever. So let me roll my d4 first. Oh, okay, that's a nice bonus. Add that to an 8. Okay, 12.
Based on the wording, you can tell that generally stories start with a introduction and then actually get into the story. And who knows, maybe a dedication page of this story is dedicated to, but likely not in this case. Or maybe you can't read the language. Investigating and looking at it, you can determine potentially either the wall you're currently looking at to your south, or the wall that would be there to your left would be the starting point. One of the two.
All right. So you're saying either like right here or right here in this open area?
Yes.
You're reading?
Okay. Well, I think the story starts somewhere over here. Hopefully not in this empty space, but it could be.
Like some of the wall that was broken besides Finn and Finder, it didn't seem to like stop whatever was happening. So there could be something more to this language than meets the eye, other than it being written down.
Let's watch together. No.
Finder, do you start from... Not, sorry, Finder. Finn, do you start from there?
the story in order if Jimmy's found what we can assume to be the beginning.
This is why you always start writing on the 10th page. No.
Okay. You begin to, with the help of Finder, you begin to write things down quickly. It does take the rest of your day, but nothing weird happens in this time. Like no weird intelligence save, no weird fluctuation of the eyes, no weird imagery. Throughout the day and close to the night, you are able to write the entire thing down in your notes. It does
so
eat
if we
up.
want to experience it, we have to go backwards.
It does eat up about 20 of your pages, but you know, better than all 200 and something of them.
Yeah.
Do you guys stay here for the night, or do you head somewhere else? One of you did mention like going somewhere safe.
Yes. Someone else mentioned this is a nexus of magic. I don't think it prudent to stay where things might be drawn.
Well, I would have been setting up for making dinner somewhere.
Perhaps within sight of the ruins. A dune nearby?
Yeah. Like up in the top left corner, it looks like it comes up maybe 100 or 200 feet off in that direction. Oh, there's something that just appeared there.
Yeah, it's food.
Okay. Enemy! No.
Murder it!
Ooh, fancy fire.
Do it.
But yeah, if that's what you guys want to do.
Yeah, a campsite on an overlook where we can kind of look down and see if anything interesting happens would probably be good.
Oh, that's dinner. Okay, I couldn't figure out what that little thing was. I thought it was a frowny clown or something.
Brownie clown. It's my cooking pot.
First time you ever seen a ration before?
Well, no, you can see the orange in the center could be kind of like a nose, and then the dark curvy at the bottom's a frowny face, and then one eyeball that looks like big with a big X on it, like somebody got a black eye. From being really small on the screen, it could look like a frowny clown, and then when I zoomed in and actually got a good look, I realized it was food.
Oops. But yeah, you guys take your time before night hits, but long enough that you can get there without too much of an issue. Heading up to the top.
We didn't even make you change screens.
Yeah, cool.
Do any of you take watch, or do you all go to sleep?
Oh, there's absolutely
Nope,
watches
definitely taking
happening.
watch.
I'm taking watch as well. So
They'll take one of the watches.
I'll take middle.
because of this, I'll take the watch as well.
And Honk, I don't believe, needs sleep, so he will be up the whole time.
You're a terrible pet owner, keeping your snake up all night. They
It's
don't
like when
need
you
sleep, but it's
how no one
nice.
turns their computers off. No one turns their computers off at night.
I do.
Actually, I do too. So, whatever.
That I'm downloading shit.
If I did, I wouldn't be able to play the game right now.
Honk has
Yeah.
the equivalent of a nuclear core.
Sure, why not? No.
He's fueled by magic, an inexhaustible source of magical vitality.
No, it basically just draws from you. So as long as you're
So
alive.
what you're saying is that Honk has Viagra.
Not. Well, I suppose it is magical for some people. Anyways,
Hey.
back on topic. Who's taking first watch, second, and third? Unless you're taking a full 8 hours, there doesn't need to be a fourth.
I'm taking a second.
I'm taking all watches. Yeah, sleeping is for the weak.
if you're taking all watches, then I'll go ahead and sleep, Finder. You are a full caster, maybe a full night's sleep if you get Jemmy and Sigvold and Honk got it.
Alright, fine if they're gonna make it perception. I don't know.
Okay.
All
for
I'm
the
gonna say is, do you trust my perception?
I trust Honk.
Honk, we trust.
Honk can only give the help action in this case, which just means
But he's also vigilant, so he can't be surprised.
Yeah, but Razov can.
That's fair.
just means he can't be under the surprise status effect.
He also has expertise in perception. Not even
Hey,
just
if you want to just trust your snake, do you have stats for snake?
that's for Snake.
Well, I'm taking middle watch
And
regardless.
I thought we were gonna do 3, and then Honk would just help out throughout the night.
Yes, but then you decided to debate me about it.
I didn't.
Yes, you did.
All right, 3 watches.
Okay. Gemi is the middle watch. Sigvald is up all night, and so is Honk. Sigvald, go ahead and roll for me a perception check. Honk giving you advantage on this check.
17.
Examining the area the first time, or at least the first few hours, you can determine that there are weird lines grooving through the ground near the temple area, but you're not sure what it is. You can tell, however, that there are things moving underneath. So, concerning. You were just there a few hours ago. But it doesn't pop out, so thankfully enough, you weren't there tonight. Your surroundings do detect weird scuttling noises nearby, but because you're aware of it, you are able to, whatever that noise is, deflect them at a different area. If you had to guess, small creatures or rodents. I don't know if it's Sober
Scorpions.
Kobo, but there is background noise. Likely scorpions.
Yeah, that wasn't me.
My mic does a thing every once in a while. Sorry.
That's fine. Just making sure.
Finder has found the source.
Finder is the potential risk factor. Sure, why not? Looking in the area, you can also tell that right now nothing is of immediate danger until the next watch. Gemi, Zigvold, and Honk are up for the second half of this. I'm going to have Honk help someone else. So, Sigvold, perception check. Gemi, perception check, advantage.
Nice.
Okay. You both can tell that those weird lines are happening more and more. In fact, from one line to the other, almost like capsizes them to show less signs of them. But you can also tell that there's more of whatever this is under the ground happening more and more. Because the walls have been broken down, because of the actual roof is no longer there. In the middle of the fountain itself seems to be glowing as if I'm blanking on the name of the mushrooms that do the glowy thing.
Luminescent.
Yeah, as if luminescent
Phosphor.
or phosphorus in nature. But you were just there, so it's either something else is happening immediately underground, or don't drink the water that could be there or used to be there. You can also tell that there's a red glow in between some of the cracks of the statue, but not so heavily that it glows and shines everywhere, but enough that in the dark you can see a match a mile away. So this is something you can see. And with the third watch, I think it's just Honk and Sigvold again.
And Finder. Said to get up. But I will be using Honk's perception. Oh.
15.
Oh.
No, this is something else.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
This is a potential. Do you encounter something?
Yeah.
The first ones were information things. The last one was the thing you have to worry about. In the immediate area you find yourself in, nothing is attacking you. But as you draw in and you perceive things, you can tell that there's something coming into the area. Not to you, to the temple. I want one of you. Finder, roll for me 1d100 to see how lucky you are.
All right. 1d100. Whoa! It's not great. It's a lower third. But hey, maybe it's golf. I don't know. As soon as you said the word lucky, I was like, "Don't, it's gonna be low on me."
You do see something coming towards you. It's not massive in scale. In fact, it's quite small. But in all intents and purposes, it is a large creature by describer. Medium-sized creature. It is not the big one. As a small worm enters into the temple area. And then just
the other.
sits by the former fountain.
Well,
And
I
then
noticed a lot of us speak Draconic.
and then the rest of you just wake up. It doesn't attack you. You got lucky enough it didn't perceive you, but not so lucky. That something isn't there.
So, while the rest of you is sleeping, a worm of some sort slithered into the temple. Anyone's guess as to whether or not it's intelligent. Shall we go investigate?
You can roll history to see if you know anything about desert worms.
I would love to.
Allow me to give you some assistance.
In the form
No.
of... No.
Unless it's magical or a skill thing. It sounds to me like a skill thing. Okay.
It's a guidance.
Yeah.
14.
Okay, pretty good. Anyone else want to make the check? You don't have to.
Level 3, 14. Not
Another
bad.
history check, sure. 19.
What do I know about desert worms? Apparently quite a bit.
Oh.
God damn it.
Okay.
Other than that, 19.
I mean, 14 would have done it, but 19 and 22 are also pretty good. You guys can tell that this is a young worm, not an adult, and definitely not a young worm. This is like a baby one. It's roughly the size of a 5-foot tall creature, to be perfectly honest. But it's nothing your team couldn't take as long as you're careful. Don't group around each other because you could potentially be hit with a breath attack. Even a young one can still potentially kill you if you're dumb. These things can fly. So, watch out for aerial attacks, and they generally don't travel in packs unless they are quite young. So the faster you take them out, the less likely you'll encounter anyone else.
I have a question.
Okay.
Yes.
These worms, are they always hostile, or if
They are greeted
approached in the
tongues
correct
of it,
fashion,
yeah.
could they be subdued with some food?
It is possible they could be subdued. It just depends on their intelligence.
That's what I was about to ask. Are they of, like advanced intelligence, or are they animal intelligence? If I know.
The young ones are close to animal, but understand Draconic. So they have an intelligence behind them, but it's not so high that they couldn't be outsmarted.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll share that. They're not the brightest, but they can all understand Draconic. So
Yes,
if
yes.
there's a need to talk our way out.
Dogma, question. Is there any food they like in particular? Would I know that?
Only sentient
The
creatures.
uh, true, but if you don't have that, the best food for this type of young dragon or worm. Technically, it's a dragon. I just like to say the word worm.
Weird.
Are like juicy fruits. The best would be good berries. So if any of you are druids, you can definitely make one. But if you have
Alas.
Only
a
Pico are here.
mango,
I'll
then
make
you're good to go.
good
I will
skies.
state though
No.
that rations generally are like preserved food you make. So it wouldn't be
like
juicy.
Yeah, I missed my chance to make a fabulously wealthy celebrity druid.
No,
Theoretically,
Gemi, I feel like your character and your 3 party members who don't travel with you on an adventure would probably be the type of pompous person that would bring like fruit and stuff to these type of climates. So I'm gonna say roll for me. I'm gonna just make it a luck roll. Above 10, you have something. Below 10, you don't.
D20, baby.
D20.
All right.
you can do it.
Just for fun, I'm going to, since I don't have a modifier in it, I'm going to roll as an intelligence roll. Was I smart enough to pack a good, healthy snack? No.
Nothing but Skittles.
Yeah.
Skittles and Slim Jims.
Yeah. Dogma, question.
Yes.
As I like to prefer to cook fresh food myself. As I am a butler, I am known to the better side of life. Would I have packed some fresh fruits and vegetables?
I'm gonna make it harder because you're no longer a butler.
Yeah, I know, but some things never change.
DC to beat 13.
Easy to beat 13. Okay, I'm gonna make it a strength check because I had to look this around. 16.
You dig into the ground, bringing out radishes. Radishes can be juicy sometimes. Bringing out a radish out of nowhere.
We have very different experience with radishes.
Yeah, like radishes are basically they are not juicy, they are rock-like.
It's a spicy potato.
Yeah, we have different. Yeah, let's change it. Sigvald, what'd you pack? Honestly, I've had not a juicy radish, but a good one that isn't a rock.
Well, I know exactly
That was
what
roasted.
Perhaps a
Sigvald
grapefruit.
would pack. It would be an apple, because all assholes eat apples while they're doing it. Sorry, all villains eat apples while they're monologuing.
That's fair.
Well, grapes. Let's not forget a Roman emperor.
Yeah.
Also true. I digress though. You do have a nice juicy apple with you. It is a Granny Smith apple, red tint and tone. Not the best, but not the worst.
I'm gonna polish up that apple, and I am gonna slide down, and I'm gonna say, wish me the best of luck.
If you'd like, Honk can deliver the apple, or we can just go behind you.
It hadn't actually noticed us. We're just discussing what to do if it does. Do you really want to slide there and make sure it notices us?
I am already sliding down.
Can I, put my hand on his shoulder, stop him real quick, just to let him know that we haven't yet been seen. We don't need to give ourselves away earlier than necessary.
You can advise
We'll be
them,
quiet.
but I don't like other players ticketing other players' actions. But you definitely can advise them.
Yeah, that's why I said put a hand on his shoulder. I didn't mean to grab and snatch him.
I get it. I get it. You guys been warned. Both Finder and Sigvald are at the bottom base. The fire is still kicking. If this was a forest, you'd be horrible monsters, but it's not.
I am gonna slowly and non-aggressively walk forward.
Okay, roll for me animal handling to walk forwards non-aggressively.
And this is where things are gonna get difficult. 6.
You accidentally step on a cascaded bone shard near the area. The worm does look towards you, and they do bring up their hind legs, as like a cat would do when they spotted something making a sound. They
I would
haven't
bow.
immediately attack you, but they are aware of your presence.
I would bow towards the creature.
Roll performance.
Man, you really know my weak spots today.
Oof. I think you position your neck to the no.
I feel like you would be aware of how to address, or at least fake address, things to give them higher status than they should have. Roll with advantage.
Okay, I'll roll again.
Not
Hey,
great.
It's not great, but it's twice as good as it was.
A little bit better than twice as good.
Yeah.
It doesn't immediately attack you, but in Draconic, it does state. Didn't think of a voice for this thing. Why are you in my home?
Shit, why are we here?
Well, we were asked, as this place was refound, we were asked to look at this place and see what is going on. We do not wish you any harm or your home.
Are you trying to persuade it or deceive it?
I am trying to persuade it.
Okay. Do you show red juicy apple, or are you just saying these words before showing apple?
Also, I have this as I pull out the apple.
Roll with advantage.
That's why we bring the apple. It's not good.
It's not great.
Someone lose their hand.
Again, you haven't lost just yet, but it does not trust you. It does state in Draconic, however. Lies. Just like the ones that lied to my mother about this place, and she died here.
I am sorry for your loss.
Like squints at you as best as a dragon can. It doesn't believe you, but it is like just staring at you. You can tell that if you do move forwards, it may pounce at you, but right now, as long as you're stably there, you should be fine.
What you are saying is, you are living here alone, with nobody to protect you.
I and the pack can protect ourselves.
Bag? So there are more of you here.
Yes, numbering in the tens to 100s. Zigwald, go ahead and roll insight.
Yeah.
I was gonna say. Dost we believe this young worm?
In
Press
insight.
X to doubt.
Yeah. Somebody is really hitting all my weak spots today.
Is Sigwald the only one that can hear him?
How close
I
are
moved
is
forward
Finder?
a bit. Oh geez, how much of a stealth roll am I gonna have to make?
I will state that you guys are aware of how the walls work. So long as you're not actively within sight, let's say here, you should be fine.
Alright, I'm gonna be here.
Roll perception with disadvantage.
Do. It's a good thing my snake is better at me than this, but also can't technically speak. Perception disadvantage?
Yeah, not close enough, but close enough that you may be able to hear something.
Ew.
You hear something in Draconic, but the distance blockades a good amount of it. You hear hundreds, dragons, worms, mother, death, lies.
Sounds like my backstory. No.
You're not a rogue. Anything else you do, Sigvald? Because it did say yes. Number in the 10s to 100s.
Oh,
You don't believe it's telling the truth, but you can't justify a quantable number in that spectrum.
yeah. I'm just gonna respond to it. Well, that is most certainly a shame. I thought with the way this place was looking, and how well fed does this creature look?
It does look malnourished, but not so much that it's dying. It just means that it is fighting other predatorial animals in the area.
And I am sorry to say this, the state that you seem to be in, that you could use some friends. And maybe a home that is safe for you.
I have adopted their first NPC.
No, first pet. That is my approach. I want my first pet. Lady had
Sigvald,
7,000 of them. I want one.
yeah,
I
that was
don't think
me as a new
everyone is
DM being
gonna-
stupid.
I don't think
It
something.
was
Ah,
fun,
so
though.
this is not gonna happen, you
Yeah.
say?
No, you can get a pet. You're just not going to get 100 because I'm not that dumb anymore. But you did state it in a way that a dragon would not care to be told it in this way. For sure, he needs help, but he's not going to say he needs help and will go to a safe place. So if you can word it in a way that a worm would accept it, you will have advantage. The way it's put out now, you will have disadvantage.
Remember, you're a butler. You're good at making the people think it's their idea when it's really yours.
Yeah, that is true. But remember that I am not a butler in real life. I'm an engineer.
Yeah.
I'm usually not really good at making people think that my plan are theirs.
So instead of that, and if you don't want to think things through, we can make it a roll. It won't be the roll to persuade. It would be the roll to see how well you do in flattering this thing, which would be performance. Or you can use your words and hope for the best.
How did you make such a low charisma butler?
You can also use this deception because you could be deceiving this thing to flatter it.
Yeah,
So I'll accept
yeah.
either.
You would say that so, but a couple of things have deteriorated a little bit since the last time we met.
Things have changed in Sigvald's life.
Yeah.
Well, plus a rude butler who is good at chasing off annoying visitors might actually be a bit of an asset.
You might want to say that certain social graces in
Okay,
enforced
how am I
empires
gonna
are
word
framed.
this?
Again, if you don't want to word it, deception or persuasion.
Uh,
What
forget
causes you to soil my doorstep?
Wait, sorry,
You know
not
what?
persuasion or deception. It'd
Oh, I
be
can do it,
performance
man.
or deception. And then
It's
depending on
all
how well that
negative.
does. Oh.
It's all -1. So 10. Not
No
good, not bad.
advantage. Yeah,
Noble worm such
not
as
good, not
yourself
bad.
deserves better conditions.
I'm gonna say you don't get disadvantage, but you do get a -1. I won't be that mean.
Oh, only a -1. Actually, oh shit! Now I complete. Where is it again? I have something for this that I just remembered. I just have to find it on my sheet. Please wait for a minute.
Oh, do you have
Oh,
the thing
man.
that gives advantage on persuasion checks?
I
No,
just figured out the angle too.
no, I have something. I have advantage on all animal handling checks.
Oh,
It's a good
buddy,
thing
you
that was
really should have said that a
performance check.
long time ago.
Yeah, I just remembered, and it's at the bottom of my sheet. You know how long my sheet is.
Well, like I
Right.
said to Finn and Finder, good to
Yeah,
know
yeah.
now, but we're not going back.
Is a worm an animal? It becomes a dragon. Is that
Ah.
yes, teenagers are animals. Moving on.
Teenagers are animals.
I will say though, I'll be a little bit nicer. You can use either animal handling or persuasion, but with animal handling, you'd have advantage. You still get the negative
Okay.
one regardless.
Yeah. I'll happily take the animal handling because it's still -1, but at least it's advantage.
17.
So 17.
So you flatter this thing with words you yourself do not say. But obviously, as a person of high repute in a butler industry, middle name Butler, you're not. You're not from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Technically, that was his last name. You persuade this worm well enough that it agrees, but not in the way that you would want it to. In a way that allows him to save face, but also allows him to give in because he is looking for food.
A noble worm such as yourself deserves more than these meager, although holy, surroundings can
Yeah, that's-
provide. Allow me, my lord, to provide you with the bounty of the city of Haven, and you may be the first of your draconic kind to sup upon its riches.
Yeah, that's basically what Sigvald says. As Finder like whispers, shouts this at him. The draconic being does state, "Fine then. Lead the way." At this point in time, you did mention friends and allies, so friends and allies can group in the area, and this thing won't immediately attack. Unless you don't trust it, then you can roll insight.
Well, I mean, you gotta roll insight.
Yeah.
Only if you wanna. I'm just making you
Even I
paranoid.
will roll inside.
What is the dragon of mind reader?
Oh, That
No.
that would be just 7, so I probably believe.
Yeah, seems trustworthy.
Can me and
Yep.
Jimmy hear what's going on at this point?
Sure.
Insight.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, you trust this thing quite heavily, so of course it wouldn't betray you. Finder, it's fine. It won't like admit that it needed help, but it won't attack you. It's more like, I'm gonna swallow my pride, but not say it out loud.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, let's just like Sigvald. Was it you who had the water? Let us at least begin with our giving our draconic guests some tea.
Yeah, I tend to agree. As I pull out the decanter of endless water. And do I have a cup that would be suitable for a worm?
A what?
A
A
cup.
cup. I guess
Oh.
Jen is a cauldron essentially. Does any of us
He needs
have?
doggy bowl.
I know what
He needs a
you
fancy
mean.
doggy bowl.
I heard a cap, as in a hat. It's like,
No,
I
a
don't think
cup.
so.
The
Yeah.
cat.
You would have something of its value to do so without too much of an issue.
Okay.
You should have control of the worm, by the way.
Mhm.
Woo! I have a
Nice.
worm now. Oh, no, how is this never gonna go bad? Okay, so I am gonna give him a deep bowl of water, or offer him some water to see if he is even interested in having a drink to solidify our newfound friendship.
Yeah, once you put it down, it begins to chug.
Oh, it's sweet water.
You don't know how long I have been without water ever since Mom died.
After,
Didn't say that out
He
loud.
would never say that.
No. After the young master has finished his drink, perhaps he might regale us ignorant of the story of this place and your mother's magnificence.
Before it does, Sigvald, you currently have, if you can find it,
Apple.
a blue dragon wormling.
I have a blue dragon wormling. Yay! Do not see it in my listing.
Just out of curiosity, does this thing look injured, or is it just a bit malnourished?
Just a bit malnourished. Again, has to fight predatorial creatures in the area, so sometimes that happens. It's in the monster manual, so if you can find it there, it's a CR3 creature.
Yep. Worm. Do I have?
You
I-
gotten yourself into?
There we go. Blue dragon wormling, right?
Yes. Jimmy, you were saying?
He's asking Sigvald what he's gotten himself into.
Oh.
Okay, so blue dragon wormling. Oh, I cannot drag it into the map. Oh, that is a shame.
Ba, 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 ba. I'll try to make it as fast as possible. Jimmy does say towards you, Sigvald, what you got yourself into.
I don't think we have gotten ourselves something into. As I look at the wormling, if I may ask, what would we call you? To the wormling.
I have no name. Derived before... Not derived, sorry. Outcast before lost of life. Outcast before name chosen or given. Basically, mom died before given a name.
Is it a guy or a gal? If
Hard to
I may
tell.
ask.
But this way, I'll just straight up tell you, didn't have anything. Basically, it was a potential encounter if you guys messed up in any way, or form. I'll just leave it up to you, dude.
Okay,
Roll that dice. Roll
in-
that
in-
dice.
Sigvald, in your head, since I've come a little closer and I'm listening to all this,
Yeah.
in your head you can hear, well, perhaps a royal enough name would be Mjolnir.
As long as it's not Rex.
Hey Dogma, I've got a question for you.
Uh-huh.
Because I only refer to Earl's character as mistress. I completely never have written down the name anywhere.
Their name is Susan. It's not.
Yeah, that is not really royal.
Well,
It's not. I
I
have to look into the archived characters. I believe it's Camilla.
Names are so common, they're boring now.
Camella.
I suggested Mjolnir because it is a blue wormling, and the lightning hammer of Thor would be a pretty good and sex-neutral name for a blue dragon.
Yes.
Reisvalger Nidhogg.
Yes. let's refer to the dragon as a tool. It really will appreciate that in the long run.
Well, it's
Something to be
a
used by a
legendary.
man.
Oh, I figured it's a legendary object. Lightning. And just a
Thunder,
suggestion.
thunder, lightning, every time we frightening. Hey, Galileo, Galileo.
Basically,
Galileo.
Finn is saying, I want to name it.
No, that was a suggestion to Sigvold in his head.
I know,
Nobody
but for sure,
understood.
if you guys got a pet, for sure people would say, "Oh, can you name him?" Blah blah blah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I only said it because it seemed like Thomas was struggling a little.
No,
I
I have a cunning plan. Um, recently my mistress died,
Did your wife
and
find out?
um, if you want, I can give you her name.
That sounds like healthy behavior.
It's not. Very well, Thane. Thane. Well, I wasn't gonna say go with Thane. All right, because it's trying to be pompous. Okay, you should have control of this one.
Okay. Okay.
This
So we
is-
have our blue dragon wormling. So
Oh,
that's
so you just have control over something you named over your fallen companion.
yeah. So I will call the blue dragon wormling Camilla.
Okay.
Before we've established whether it's a male or a female.
No. What we
He's a
I
boy
basically
named
said, fair to go, whatever you want. Sigvold, it can be a girl. I had no thought in it whatsoever. It was just gonna be a dragon that you encountered.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is what he said. So that's why I can happily go with Camilla.
You should also see
Sorry.
the character sheet in the character area now.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
So, yay! We have our first pet that we have to praise and deify.
Honk
Or at
is
least-
just Honk is giving you the eyes.
Eventually, it'll grow accustomed to you. Just right now, it has to save face.
Yeah, exactly. Until it feels comfortable with me ass kissing it for up to the moon. It's
Yeah. It also mentioned a whole bunch of things, by the way, if anyone want to ask any questions, or you can investigate
Yeah.
what you guys saw last night.
I wanted it to tell us the story of this place and his mother. I said that.
he
I
did.
don't remember that, but I'm going to say you did, because you just said
I
you
made
did.
it all.
Yeah.
I made it all
I
ass
remember him
kissy.
saying that.
I'm not gonna do the gruff voice, but it does state this is an area where mother used to nest along with the other kin in the area. Many of us do lose our progenitors before our first year, and if we cannot last a year, then we are not designated a name. If we lose our progenitor, then we are banished through the outlands, where we deal with the rest of the packs that are also outcast. When mentioned packs, you can tell that it's not in large numbers. It's not numbering in the hundreds. It's like people that group together to defend each other in case you die.
Well, high school cliques.
Yeah, it's clans. Okay.
Real
Clash of
quick,
Clans.
how old are you then, Camilla?
Dragon-wise, they would be around... I do see a year, but technically I meant 100 years, because I think young for a dragon is 100 years. So they would say 30. But in their mind, it would be 3 months.
The dog years. The opposite of dog years.
Like full adult creature, just,
Yeah.
dragons are
I mean,
weird.
you just have to say they mature at this age. You don't have to be like relating it to humans all the time. We're
Yeah.
savvy. You know.
Yeah, you guys can figure it out. Just a mere young 30 years. Mother died roughly 2 months ago when the first came here and lied to her.
The first.
I pull out the notes. Do they make any notice about dragons being in the area?
They don't. Like,
Okay.
And you just
however,
tag these first people.
that is
No.
a good
Did they make a
thing
note about
you
the first
have.
exploratory team making it back?
They don't have that. They just have the general profile of it. However, Sigvald, go ahead, and Finn, I also like your idea. Both of you roll perception
Oh, perception.
or
Yeah.
or a wisdom or intelligence check. I'll accept either three, but you can only do
you
one.
know, you know what? I am gonna tell Jimmy my idea and have him look around.
Who's Jimmy? Do you mean Gemmy?
Yeah, Jimmy.
Jemmy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jimmy.
his name's Jemmy, like gems.
Yeah.
Okay,
Jimmy.
Gemtholo,
Yeah.
you can also make a roll.
I would like to give myself some
Matthew.
guidance.
So what is it I'm supposed to be doing? Or actually, hold on, let me reword it.
Ooh.
So what is it I'm supposed to be doing?
Checking out the book to
Which
see if there's
doesn't help.
anything that should be there. It's either perception check, intelligence check, or a wisdom check.
Okay,
Checking
I'm
what you
gonna
said?
make an intelligence check.
Intelligence, wisdom, or perception check.
Yeah, I I screwed the pooch.
That is a 7, a 14. And Finn, unless you were closing your ears when Sigvald shouted this, I guess you could also make one.
I was sending this telepathically to Jimmy.
Oh, got it.
Oh, in that case, never mind. I thought it was Jimmy and Finn. Sorry.
Either way, you guys did not roll that well, but one of you got a 14, so that's good enough for a few things. Sigvald, Camilla lied a lot during her reports and, omitted a bunch of things. By the way the report it's written, it's definitely trying to cover their own face, but you don't know what they were covering it from. There were in their written text indicating small complications arise, but nothing that couldn't be handled. So there was a possible possible problem. It could have been dragon, but they don't describe it so they don't get in trouble, or maybe maybe get fired or die. Or maybe there's something else that they are omitting due to potential political matters, or maybe they encountered someone here. You know for sure that something happened. You just don't know what with a 14. Could have been a
Okay.
dragon.
Okay, good to know.
Three
will
people
have-
did die out of a group of 8, but that is honestly expected with these type of things.
That is good to know. If I ever see her again, I'll introduce you to her.
But yeah, you guys have this information. And the wormling does state, the first one in coats spoke to her after telling her about this place and convinced her, it would probably say conned her into digging it out as if they knew it was here in the nest. And they then used magic. They don't have magic. To have her drink through the well and engulf the water until there was none left.
You-
Do you know what the thing was they took? Do you need it back?
I don't. They just simply destroyed certain areas of the temple. He would probably say building. Wouldn't understand his temple. And then took a box. But before they took one box, Another box ate one of them in half.
Box have teeth.
This one did.
Would that
It's
be
still
a nature
here.
or perception?
You can roll perception, but the last time you were here, you didn't see teeth box.
Oh no, I'm just based on the story. I'm thinking the teeth box is a
Mimic, we know.
I got a game, sure, but in game, probably don't know. Depending on
That's what I
roll history.
in game. All right, in game. Just curious. No guidance.
I'll give Sigvald and Finn advantage based off of their own heritage, but nothing advantage or disadvantage for Gemi or Finn. Actually, I can see Gemi having advantage because rich
It's
people like
Gemi.
to. It's
Sorry.
Gemme.
Yeah, but
It's
on the other hand, as far as I understand, I have no idea what anybody's saying unless they take moments to fill
Oh,
me
yeah,
in.
they're all speaking
so all I've been
Draconic.
hearing is foreign chattering.
Does Jemmy not speak the language of the dragons?
I do not.
I can go ahead and open up a psychic connection to help translate for you, Jimmy.
Right.
You can do that between each other, but when you try to do it with the Wormling, Camilla technically, it does say stay out of my head.
Oh yeah,
But-
no, I was one person
yeah,
at a
I get it.
time, and so I hear it in Draconic, and I can translate for Jimmy without having to repeat
Okay,
out
then
loud.
that doesn't happen, but you auto-translate with Gimme. That time I did actually mess up on purpose. Anyways, with a 21 and a 17 and... Oh, 15 also is pretty good. You can tell that there are things that mimic other objects to, well, potentially eat people, monsters, or other things. Sigvald, you know these things as, well, traps that various rich people use to basically murder any mercenaries they hire because they don't want to pay them sometimes. It's a mean thing
Okay.
to do, but they have done it. And they're called, like,
Yep.
Mim something.
Mimics, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah,
Uh,
probably.
And with a 17 and a 21, you don't know this type of story, but Finn, you have heard of other creatures known as mimics that turn into something else to distract or maybe murder someone for food or sustenance. Some of them are intelligent, but you can't quite tell which ones are. And Finn, you know these things as mimics. You've seen them around from time to time in the warehouse in Section 3.
And I'm sure Eberron has lots of mimics in certain areas too.
That
At
also
some
true.
point, are you calling? Yeah.
The mimics in Section 3 are a mop, a treasure chest, and a pyramid for some reason or another. But I'm talking pyramid, like 25-foot tall pyramid.
Oh, geez, a big one.
A monument.
Yeah. That being the case, though, those ones are not intelligent, or at least don't speak. But you do know that the ones that are usually boxes are the intelligent kind. They're often found in mazes or dungeons whenever a wizard or something else wants to protect their treasure or magic.
So whatever was taken was definitely worth protecting by someone of a very powerful magical nature.
I
And-
consider something important, but it waves over many people's minds.
I missed the last little bit, but I did have a question.
Yes.
And Camilla, when all of this a year ago happened, did this place look the same as it is now,
a few months ago.
or a few months ago? Or
Wait,
was
sorry,
it
3 months ago. Go ahead.
more
Sorry.
verdant then? Was it more complete, or was it already run down?
More complete. The water was still there, pooled in the fountain, but then they destroyed portions of the walls. Forced my mother with their magics to consume the water. Likely tricked. Again, no magic from these people. Causing me to lose the only family in the area.
These people, what did they look like? Something? Were they wearing clothing of one color?
It did say the people in white. Yes, the people in white wore white.
And they were of a height with us, or shorter, or taller?
Both shorter and taller and the same.
Does that ring any bells? Do we know of any organization that wears white?
You know that there are some expedition team that wear white. Generally, they're lab coats or people that, don't like to get dirty.
And are they usually non-magic users?
They're usually non-magic users that specialize in these type of things. It does sound potentially like the R&D department. It also sounds like some people that work for the mercenary guilds here and there that aren't part of the military itself. You guys tend to be fall under the umbrella of the military subsection area.
So we have our report, right? How many of them were there? Jemmy,
In the report,
cross-reference that both
there-
to the dragon and to Jemmy with the report.
Jemmy
Reports of
and
8 with 3 dead.
yes, Jemmy, you remember this as well. 8-3 dead, and I'm gonna see if Camilla remembers.
To be fair, Camilla just has to tell us when
That is
when
true.
something happens. When she sees somebody she recognizes,
That is
and
true.
not immediately try to murder them on the spot. That would be nice.
That is also true, but you need to bring her into the city for that to happen.
Yeah, that will happen. Under the umbrella of Section 8.
9.
Oh, 9.
I mean, you can go to
What
Section
for-
8 if you
for
want, but it's not where you work.
Oh, wait, yeah. We are Section 9 because Section 8 is only for the crazy people. We are even worse than the crazy people.
Wait for
right?
your transfer. It'll be fine.
Technically, the crazy people still have some type of status that keep them safe. You guys are like, let's push our work to these guys. Finn, you were saying?
I am not familiar with Section 8.
Most people wouldn't be. I'm pretty sure we were just making a joke, but if you want to know, I can tell you what Section 8 does.
Yeah,
Later.
Maybe it's something I learned. Maybe it's something I don't know yet.
It's honestly something you don't know yet because you guys just got hired.
Not a problem.
So later. It's not important right now. Anyways, full of crazy people. Or interesting. But based off of what the wormling knows, you can tell it just knows people. It didn't count them, it just was mad at them. Because it only has a +1 in intelligence and 0 in wisdom.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
Hey, it's smarter than me. Oh, sorry, it's wiser than me. Because I have a neck one.
Well, that's
Fair
gonna
enough.
go great for when you tell it what to do.
Either way, it's upset. It didn't make indication or depiction. It's like, until now, every humanoid was basically the same humanoid until, one was nice.
Apples
I
go a
gave
long
her
way.
an apple.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I did give her the apple.
Yes, it's currently eating it while talking. But
Very big mess.
you guys have this information. I gave you a big clue, but, you could have maybe not heard it properly. That being the case, though, do you guys investigate the things you saw last night? Or do you try to read the full story now that it's written down?
Yeah. Well, we have it written down, but did some? I wasn't there for the big red glowy thing, but that seemed like a clue.
Yeah, where was the big red glowy thing?
There were lines of red glowing around like the joints of the armor.
Ah. I asked Camilla what she knows about the armor and why it glows at night.
I don't know. I saw it once glow one night, and these strange things came out of the ground. And they almost, after I killed 180 of them, clearly a lie, almost overcame me. So I had to go into my second home at night, and can only rest here in the day, except when I oversleep.
Do you want me to crack it open then?
Probably not. But those things that come out of the ground, did they come out of the ground before that box was taken?
No.
So whatever they took, this place had noticed.
Nods.
Also, did they do anything with the well after your mother ate it all?
I did not hear that properly. What did you say?
Did they do, if they did anything with the well after her mother had devoured the entire contents of the well? Or the spring. Fountain.
Fountain, yeah.
Thomas. Words.
They said something about the water no longer being a problem.
Is there
And-
something underneath?
Shrugs. I fly in the sky, not the ground. Those are the... Thinking on the top of my head. Black dragons, I think.
This boo. Can Finder use his stonemason's tools to like tinky tink on the ground and figure out if this is there's a hollow area anywhere?
If you wanna. Yeah, go ahead and use your Tinker's tools. Quite literally roll on your Tinker's tools. This would likely be an intelligence or wisdom kind of thing.
Maybe Jemmy should
Love
use
it.
his stunt cutting.
Does Johnny want to help?
If somebody asks, I can help.
I think Finn is translating audibly everything that's being said. Oh, so if us messing with your name ever gets annoying, let us know.
Not a problem. It won't be a problem, so don't worry about it. Although it's probably not necessary for Finn to be translating things that Finder or Sigvald are doing.
Well, they're speaking in Draconic as well. So.
Well, if I'm asking the dragon, it's in Draconic.
So, yeah, Jemmy, do you know anything about underground caverns or whatnot, or are you sticking to this small humanoid story?
About the underground, other than it's underground. I give a little expert guidance, though.
I'm not opposed to some guidance.
Also, oh, sorry.
Guidance. And for the record, I'm not a dwarf.
I never said you were.
He just called you short.
It's dwarves, other stunted folk, potato.
I assume your expertise regarding caverns comes from your amphitheater experience. Performing and whatnot.
I do have a little proficiency in that.
Also, to be fair, one of his hirelings is a dwarf, so, there's that.
I know
So I
Finder
rolled
a
23 on my
but,
own. Yeah.
but yeah, didn't Jimmy say that he gave you some expert guidance?
Yeah,
So
so you can
what's
roll a
that?
d4 to add to that.
Delightful.
Come on, 4.
Boo.
24. Okay. This was honestly a tough check, but 24 easily clears that. DC to beat was 16. Looking at the wavering area around the, basically the stone structure around it, you tap in the area trying to find any hollow spots. You do find one roughly, technically here. So there is a pathway leading in. You are able to move rock and stone before you fully do so, however. Some of it does break apart, allowing you to see inside. It doesn't break so far that you fall into it, but it breaks enough that you do see inside. Do you have dark vision? I think you do.
Yes.
You do see weird grays in the area, suggesting discoloration.
If I see this dark area, I'm going to go ahead and cast light.
It's full of the moss or whatever.
A lot
is
of
in
it
the
is
fountain.
green, but not everything is green.
It's possible to go in there, but magic makes it go crazy.
So true, but there is a hint to all of this. I don't think anyone's gonna figure this out. Everyone go ahead and roll for me just history, I guess.
No, that's one of my best skills.
Heyo.
Can I give myself some guidance here?
No, it's a luck check with added flavor.
Okay.
That is the DM telling us we are so stupid that our
Yeah.
characters are smarter than us. Oh,
No,
that one
well-
is a 9, not a 23.
This is more
Well,
of a
if Jemmy's
tricky
smarted
thing.
me with a 7.
If you weren't paying attention clearly. Well, not clearly, but there is something that could be read properly if you were looking at it heavily. But that's fine.
Fire? It's fire,
No,
isn't it?
no, it's not fire. In fact,
No?
it's water.
Oh, fuck me. I thought you said... all right.
Moving water seems to be moving it with it. Otherwise, the entire area you currently see would be with the green. Once the water stops, it stays there.
Are you saying the water washes it away?
It doesn't wash it away, it carries it away.
Yeah, I think it imagine it like algae floating in the ocean.
Yeah, but as
Alright,
soon as it
well-
encounters
Way
something
the algae
else, it
just
sticks to it.
rocks.
Okay. Well, in my world, that's washing it away. Now that I, with
I
a
totally
history
get what you
check of
mean.
15, have figured it out, I think it's best that, Sigvald, you employ a vigorous washing.
Of
The moss. It should flow away with the water. Although it will spread out the fountain, perhaps. I don't know where it goes from here, but if we want to explore, do you know the thing where you're just gonna have to splash it down? So-
Finder, you look at the fountain to see maybe it'll go back here, and you do notice your blade still there. It hasn't eroded, it hasn't decayed. It's just now a green knife. You can potentially use Honk to explore the area without potential danger of any of the green coming towards you. And if you just wash Honk, give him a bath, you should be fine.
Okay, I've got a question. Are there any overflow points on the fountain?
There are not, surprisingly.
Okay, well in that case, I'm gonna. Does anybody have tools that can stonework? The inside of the fountain and have it flow down something to be out of the way, but not just going everywhere. That was
Oh,
the
okay.
idea.
Yeah, you can definitely do that.
So
And with Move Earth, I could put a 5-foot deep hole next to the fountain. If he makes the overflow right there, it'll kind of wash everything into the ground right there.
well,
It would,
that
it would
uh,
take some time to do with tools.
yeah. Also, you say with move earth, but we are on carved stones, right?
Yes.
Yeah, move earth doesn't work on that.
Even the floor. Okay.
Even the floor, especially the floor. However, you can
If
use
we
the
wash
tools to make, as Sigfold mentioned, a line that will drain it out, and you can use mold earth out of the temple to have that pool in that area. Finder, you were saying?
Okay.
I was just being contradictory. If this is what we're doing, I'm all for it.
Oh, what did you want to contradict?
No, just saying that, like, if we're trying to put a drain in the fountain, which is what I thought Sigvald was talking about, I was like, well, there's already a hole in it. We just gotta cut the pipe in the lower area, but I'm not. Yeah, nope. I'm just good with whatever we're rolling for.
Okay, so we'll carve out a drain, and we will flow the rest out with our decanter of endless water.
Do one of you have mage hands? Because one of you needs to hold it in there.
Hold one in there.
The
We're
decanter.
all
I
thinking
can-
everything.
I can do that.
Well, you
No.
can just.
Why would it need to be in there? I'm just holding it at the top, just tilting it over so water comes out, flows in, and washes out.
Are you just doing it on the fountain itself, not the pipeline system?
Well, if we put it on the fountain, the water is gonna go somewhere, and that is down the drain, right?
Well, he's
No,
talking
the
about
water
there's
is
a pipe.
coming to the fountain. The water itself doesn't drain back out that way, and that's why I said for some reason that's weird. You just
No,
then
we
decided
literally
to
just
wash
made
it.
a draining point.
Yes, it
No,
can
what
do
he
that.
means is you have to still move the decanter around to wash everything.
Yeah, but we cannot do that from the outside of the.
For the fountain,
Of the
yes,
fountain.
absolutely. I'm talking about the pipeline that comes to there. There is green there. That's what Finder just found.
There's like a sewer beneath it that has some little pipe somewhere in it. It's not like the whole sewer goes and connects right, or even if it does, it connects to a little pipe. So you can pour as much water you want down there. It's never gonna like backflow through all the tiny little sprinklers.
Okay.
What you can do, and I think this is funnier, have the decanter go through the pipeline that's coming there. The water will splash into the fountain and clean it into the pipeline that you just made. But you can also use ingenuity in this, creating a more or less kind of pump using Camilla's fire breath, Jemmy and Finder's own intellects to create the type of force pump to drive a steam into the tunnel, which is more or less water, cleaning it out even easier.
Okay, we'll do that. That sounds great.
Yeah. I'm going to have...
You need to maneuver.
Steam clean the tunnel. I love it. I've
and
got
I
a.
can maneuver the
Recently,
decanter
I
anywhere.
discovered as an artificer, I can turn a bag into a bag of holding. So we could just have like a leather bag with a fire under it with a pretty much infinite amount of water.
Yeah.
Because it'd just be pouring into it, and the steam is just, the decanter of endless water is pouring into there, which is boiling the bag, which is.
Very much true. Finn, you were saying?
Oh, I was just saying that I could hold the decanter wherever it needs to get held without getting green stuff all over us.
Yeah, also helpful. But
Yeah,
with
that
your
does help.
ingenuities, and you guys do have these skills, so you honestly don't need to roll. It will require time, but you have the rations, so time is something you have. So long as you don't take 10 days, then you're kind of in trouble. But after...
The Wearm is going to have to get used to dried rations with an infinite amount of water. Soup is good, okay? Wyvern, not everything is nectarines.
Yeah, but with a good roughly hour and a half of steam cleaning the pipeline and using that water to boil into the fountain, causing it to drain out. The green at this point is gone after a good full 2 hours. The pipeline heading towards wherever it's heading towards is a good solid foot diameter. So Honk can definitely go through there. Or if you have the spell known as Large Reduce, one of you could potentially go down there if you want.
Okay, so the trick about Honk is there's no telepathic bond there. I could give him instructions, and then the only thing he can do on his turn is dodge. But it is very unclear in the rules as to whether or not he can communicate in any way.
Yeah.
It says he understands your languages, but that's up to you,
He
DM.
understands. You can
Oh, wait.
communicate with it, but it cannot communicate with you.
Yeah. Finn, go ahead and
Does it
Go ahead.
have an intelligence? What is the shape of your steel defender? Is it a snake?
Yeah, snakes. So essentially, like those. You ever seen those wooden snakes that, like, the toy? It's him, but better. You know what I
Does
mean?
it have an intelligence?
Yeah, -3.
But it has an intelligence that's higher than 1.
Yeah, 4 total.
I can
-3 modifier.
I can
Alright.
communicate with it.
Okay. Well, it understands all my languages.
And I can translate what it wants to reply. Even if it doesn't have the ability to speak, except for...
it just gives the emotional stance of what it's feeling right now. Again,
Well-
it's not that smart. It has a primal understanding of things that happen. But you can also, Finn, go ahead and roll for me history.
Okay.
And it is a construct. Like, let's
Yeah.
not everyone be like, oh, dogs have personality. Yes, they do. But this is a battle bot.
Yeah, this is a little different. Okay, so I'm rolling history. Advantage, disadvantage, guidance, anything?
Advantage, because you've dealt with Warforged before.
Haha, that works.
Because you technically come from Eberron.
Yeah.
I was about to say 30. No, it's 3 plus 17. You've dealt with
10,000 on the dice.
Warforges. Some of them don't talk. Some of them don't communicate. Some of them deal with a weird signaling language that are like a rapid hits to their side, indicating some type of language. Some of them also just use their hands to make shapes, and other people understand it. There are easy ways to interpret or understand someone even if you don't speak. You can for sure communicate with your own mind link. At the very least, you will understand what it's currently feeling and things of that notion, even though it can't say anything. But another way of figuring out where it's going is to just follow it and have it hit the wall, and everyone can make a perception check. And unless everyone fails, you can follow it to the end point.
Okay.
Just for future reference, does it have the capability to write things in the sand with its tail?
No, because it has negative intelligence.
Probably a good ruling. Makes sense.
You can probably make an S or a Stuzzy, but that's about it.
He makes an arrow, but it's like a 3-year-old's arrow. You're like, I guess that's. I hope that's not a curve.
But yeah, that's what you can definitely do. And the mind link, how far does that outstretch?
Right now it's 30 feet, 10 times my level.
Then the mind link can only go so far. It is a good idea, but
Yeah.
at any rate, you will still have to follow it or need to follow it.
Okay.
Oh.
No problem.
Okay,
it's murder Roomba.
my telepathy basically does the same thing, but only up to 120 feet. So that's nice, right?
Oh wow, that's way more than.
Yeah. You'll overtake me at 12th level, 13th level.
I'm
You hit
surprised a
telepathy
foot of
and-
stone doesn't block it, but telepathy is a thing. Anyways,
Also, I need to be able to see the creature, so
true.
So have we determined that it's not a great idea for me to send Honk after them, or what are we
It
doing?
is. It is an interesting idea,
No, it
but you
is.
have this ability. Also, this would be leading you away from the temple, and you haven't figured out what the statue does. You haven't read the story in the book.
Oh,
Can
we
we
did
read the
ask,
story in the book and it gives us the brain thing, or do we have to like
You haven't
mess
tried
it
it
up
yet.
on purpose?
we did ask the dragon. She said she didn't know the story.
The dragon did say it does not know. The people in white just took flashing things on the walls, wrote things down, and then tore pieces of it away.
Okay.
Doesn't know.
All right, so I think that's our.
It does state, though, but from time to time, it feels like the walls are talking to me without words or sound.
That actually makes a lot of sense. That's been my experience also.
Yes. As
I don't think any of you, except maybe Sigvold, would have this information. Maybe Jemmy, but that's only maybe, depending on who he's hired in the past. Yeah, I'll say Jemmy might have a chance. Okay, Sigvold and Jememe, go ahead and roll for me history.
Alright, let's see. Yep. Mediocre roll, as I expected.
This is honestly a luck check with flavor.
Mm-hmm.
And Sigvold, if you fell asleep, well, that just happens. But
no, I'm here. I'm here.
okay, then history, please, when you get the
It's a
chance.
long morning for him.
Yeah, I basically fell asleep when I woke up, but I
mean, that's what
accidentally
I do.
headbutted on my alarm clock, so I kind of had to get up.
Okay.
I would argue that it's actually the majority of when you fall asleep. When you
Yeah,
wake up, you fall
true.
asleep. Anyway.
Communicating and talking with one another, Jemmy and Sigvold, you're able to determine both of you after a while, but Sigvold is the one that figures it out ultimately. That this type of thing, this type of language is generally not written down. These patterns are not a language. It is more of a structured form of a thought pattern, of a wave pattern, rather than a language itself. And there are things that bump in the night that speak with you without saying words. And this feels like that. Sigvold, you can tell that this language is known as deep speech,
Oh no.
which is also heavily
Okay.
concerning.
Yeah, yeah. I will tell the others that it is written in deep speech.
So it is a second language.
Why is
Right.
your face like that when you say deep speech? Sigvold.
It's the language of abolets and mind flayers,
And other things that bump in the night.
and other things that terrify me and my mom.
And
So
vampires.
It's a monstrous.
There's the
language.
things that terrify even the rulers of. What the heck is it? I want to call it Corthus. That's not the name.
Noche.
Noche.
I made the name simple.
He made the name so
Plain
simple.
meal will terrify a ruler these days.
This is
Like
my own
buenas
mental block.
noches. Come on, it's
Okay.
like good night.
Buenas
It's the city of the night. It's night.
Bonne
Yeah.
nuit.
Bon nuit. Before I ruin
Like
any
noir.
more French. Yeah, you can tell that
That was
based off of what Sigvold said, this is a problematic situation, but it also explains kind of the imagery you've already gotten. But with this knowledge, you can definitely interpret how to read what you've written down instead of just hoping for the best. So anyone that decides to read whatever you've written down, or you can mess with the statue beforehand, it's up to you. But if you read before or after, I really don't care. You will need to make
me.
not an intelligence save, but an intelligence check.
I think perhaps myself and Sigvald. I'd like to keep you close, Sigvald, but I think we are most suited for this task.
Okay.
Hold on a sec. Let me check something.
We can help them.
That's probably not going to help. I was just checking one of my spells, but it's probably not really that useful here.
I can go ahead and put my hand on Finder's shoulder and give him a couple of pointers as to psychic languages, since I know one.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
that'll be a D4 for guidance.
Any, anything to further our cause. Thank you, Finn. Intelligence, you say?
Yeah.
Jimmy, you can help Sigvald.
What do you think? Well, it's the same.
I
If we're both doing it, or if one is helping.
Oh, I thought Sigvald and Finder were each rolling individually.
yeah.
Intelligence!
Well,
For guidance signal.
okay. Oh, okay. Challenge accepted. Intelligence. Here we go.
You were
You get to
given the
roll a
help
d4
action.
to see if you can tie.
Oh, I was given the help action. Okay, I thought I was getting.
Yeah,
the
Camilla
D4.
gave you a help action.
Ah. Okay.
And guidance.
Okay, it stays at 20.
You didn't beat Soap, but then again, it's also a natural 20.
Air horns, motherfucker.
You
Uh,
get to roll a d4 as well, because I gave you guidance, so you might
Yeah.
be able to hit a 24 if you're lucky.
It's true.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Ooh,
at
you
24.
tied it.
You both did
Ooh.
exactly as impressive, but Finder's is
guess what?
green, so a little bit more.
Also, he rolled a 25 because he had a +1.
There it
The
is.
1d4.
True.
That's what I was hoping I would roll a 21, so I could at least match him.
Okay. Investigating and looking it through, you both are able to read the story just
Both
fine.
high-fived.
None of the weird effects happen because you decided to read it from, cover to cover. Looking through it and examining it, you can tell that this is a story of a strange kind of cult. Weird people in shadows don't exactly humber or communicate with one another. I don't know why I said humber. I'm pretty sure that's not even a word.
It is now.
Weird shadows do cover them, but you can tell that itself is part of them. It's not as if you're drunk. It's not shaky cam. It's quite literally shadow covering most of them, but in a humanoid form. Whatever they are, they do quite literally come from the shadows. They are dragging people into this temple, and the people themselves seem to be that of human and primal Yang Ti first coming into the area. There is also primal elves, which are just elves, generally.
Like 2 generations ago. No.
Now, I forget what the primal elves is, but I'm going to say just elf.
Isles.
Probably a high elf. High elves into the area, like dragging them in chain and bunkering them down. They do drive a stake into each of their hearts, not as if killing a vampire or anything of that notion, but just straight up murdering them. As soon as that happens, they drive the stick out and bring in the water in vases and vases. Each of them, more or less, as someone would sanguine, can't say that word properly, another body.
Queen.
Thank you. They do so on their arm, and the blood mixes into the water, causing a weird green tint and tone. The water is then poured into these bodies, causing them to turn slowly, decaying away their flesh, and then the bone sticks there, but in a green tint and tone. They use the bones and create weird makeshift weapons or other tools. Slowly enough, they bring in other people, but this time differently. In the back rooms, or at least the back corners of your minds, you can tell that there is not a caster, but someone using their magic and other tools to create a strange facsimile of a being. Inside, they do put in what looks like a machine, as it does have wires and magic all around it. They infuse it together in both metal and stone, but not fully closed over. To the right of them, you do see what you've already seen before, what you've already known beforehand. The same flash that Finn already had, just with more context clues. Driving into the next part, you also get the weird dancing of fire and brimstone. After the first person that died was covered in the water, instead of being more or less injected or ingested, this person themselves was turned to stone, or at least the full frontal part of them was. They put the person on the pike of fire and caused them to burn away, or at least close to it. They danced around it while this was happening. At the very edges of this story, you can tell that other things came around them. This was more or less the last tale of the people that were here. The last, more or less, semblance to something that they were worshipping. The best way you can describe it, or at least the best way I can describe it, is like a civilization that's dying, but was having one last hurrah before these strange shadows enveloped them almost in a flash of light, and they disappeared. You don't get the last glimpse of the past, because that glimpse quite literally was their death, and you can't really read beyond that point. And that's the story you read.
A lot to absorb there.
It doesn't tell you what they put in the chest. It just means that this information was more or less the story they wanted to tell people. They want to tell others. But based on this type of culture or something of that notion, they likely used, as mentioned beforehand, a mimic to keep things safe, or at the very least protected and guarded. Whatever was the treasure, it was of high importance enough that they would have it guarded, but not so high that others would know about it, unless they were actively told. So whoever were the men in white, they know something before this ever happened, which would explain why the Camilla's mother was more or less tricked into uncovering this area. While Camilla themselves doesn't really fully understand it, after all, they're only 30. This is what happened.
Okay.
That leaves just as many questions as answers.
Honestly, it leaves more questions. But yeah,
That's what I was
And
thinking.
it didn't even touch on what happens underneath.
it didn't, but you can determine with context clues what is going on there. These shadow creatures were using their blood to bring in the green, which means whatever is on the other end of the pipe has enough blood to continuously fill the fountain. So it's something big.
Until it was drained, yeah.
Or the water was no
That's
longer
a
running.
lot. Yeah.
It could be dead, or it could still be alive. You don't know until you find out. But you can tell that the statue here is that weird construct they made with the weird red thing in the middle of it. The other end of the pipeline is something big. You can investigate if you want. Up to you.
Boss underground, mini boss right in front of us.
Yeah, we can use the snake to kind of clear the path until we get down to where we can find a better entrance. I guess.
Again, nothing immediately is putting you in danger. You can come back to this if you want, or you can attack it now. Also, Finn, don't forget to fully heal up. You did take a long rest.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, we did finish our long rest then. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm all set.
But what do you guys do? Which will likely be the last action, because I probably should have ended 30 minutes ago.
Okay.
I think, just my opinion, we should follow this down, and even if we don't engage said boss, we can at least find out what it is and be able to come back to it later. Not
What
only that, we have
happened?
a ton of information. That's what they wanted in the job description. So we've technically fulfilled that. If we can find out what the boss is, we can add that to our report and be pretty good.
Yeah,
Good
I don't-
bonus.
I don't want to go into
we
that
got a
tunnel.
bonus.
I don't want to go into that tunnel without figuring out what's going on with this armor. We saw it glowing red last night, and it's been intensifying the magic in this area every night since the chest has been left.
Well, I think.
What if we go in there and we come back out, desperate, wounded, and we come out to find some sort of horrific killing automaton?
Well, I
Looks
wasn't
towards Honk.
necessarily suggesting. Yeah, I wasn't necessarily suggesting we engage with what we find down there, but if we can get down there and at least ascertain its nature or a positive identity, then
If you can guarantee that we can do that before the nighttime when this thing seems to draw its power.
You don't know how far the pipe is, so can't guarantee it technically. You can make a general estimate, though.
general estimate.
Yeah, you can roll survival.
Okay. Using all of my power.
Natural one. I'm very confident. No!
It is a
No,
D4.
that was my guidance.
Okay, sorry. I saw the one.
Based off of the estimate of the way the pipe would have to work, and based off of how water flow would take, you can definitely get there before nightfall. But you would have to book it back before the night fully sets.
We can do it if we hurry.
If
I
nothing
have
goes
confidence.
wrong.
Yeah, so as long as you don't fight it, you should be fine.
I have confidence that we can do that. And remember, we only have to ascertain what it is. So if we only get a little ways down there and realize what we're dealing with, that's all we need.
You're very confident that nothing will go wrong.
I am.
That's the question. Okay, does everyone else feel the same way? Personally, I feel like we should deal with any.
We couldn't hear that. You were muffled.
Well, personally, I feel like we should deal with the statue. That's not going to be a statue for very long.
Jimmy, what do you think?
I don't know because Discord. Well, I guess it turns out it didn't crash precisely, but some stupid news and interest thing. I think it's a little thing in Windows on the lower right part of the taskbar. Decided to eat up all my memory, and all of a sudden, Discord apparently went to sleep. So I had to go and end that other process, and then Discord still didn't want to cooperate, so I had to close like the instances of Discord and launch it. In the meantime, I just picked up on my phone, so I missed a good chunk of conversation trying to get back online.
It was
basically-
mostly.
I'm not sure.
Do you want to go into the tunnel, or do you want to check out the stone statue that's going to be on our way back? And we could barely make it back if we go down the tunnel and come back.
Probably better to check the statue first. If it's going to be a problem, better for it to be a problem while we're not climbing out a hole.
Well, if we go ahead and check the statue, then we're going to be coming out of the tunnel at nighttime. But we won't have the statue to deal with.
You can also do it tomorrow.
It's good enough, you know.
Again, at least 10 days of rations. If you want to use 3.
Yeah, let's do it. Can
Okay.
Okay. So are we doing that, everyone? Yes. Can I tappity tap on it? Do you want me to make a roll?
For
and
that,
make it dramatic?
Sigvold, what's your vote? Tunnel or statue?
You know what? Let's go. Let's finish the statue and then move further down.
Oh, I thought you were gonna agree with Finn, so I would have to roll to see who won. Okay. You head over towards the statue, Finn, Finder, 2 F names, Sigvold, and Jemmy.
How dare we?
You get there to examine and potentially destroy it. This thing was not first made out of stone. It became stone soon after. How you deal with this? Well, we'll have to figure that one out next time. Because I really should have ended early. But it keeps happening anytime I say this. So for now, we will wait. Just another week,
Love
though,
you too, bud.
as we end the session for today.
Okay.